Well, what we look for in ITV Studios in terms of producers is we've spent 4 years really broadening the range of genres that we play in, and the reason that we've been able to do that is because we've worked with different producers who've got different relationships with networks or who play in genres that we didn't play in. So right now we play in male docu, female docu, crime, game, everything that you can imagine because it's more creatively interesting for me. And the only way that we've been able to do that successfully is working with the best producers. I think the best advice I can give for a producer to be noticed is to really understand the landscape and the marketplace. Quite often we get projects that come to us that have either been out there, have been exposed, have been done to death, and aren't necessarily sellable. So I think it's about having a project that you've got a very strong opinion about which network or networks you think that will be suitable for, and have an opinion about how you would produce the show, and also have good materials. Even if it's just rough Skype footage, but the Skype shows that these are fantastic characters, we'll take that and we'll work with them and we'll make it into something that we can take to the networks. But I think it's about having an opinion about networks, having an opinion about the show, and having at least basic materials that allow us to see the vision for the show. We're essentially character-driven or format-driven, so if it's a character show, we'd need to understand, we'd need to see the characters, and even if that's just some string-outs of Skype interviews, we'd also need to understand what the connections are between them, what their kind of storylines are. If it's a format, then we'd look at a paper treatment that had the format laid out, and we'd want the producer to sort of pitch the format to us. If it's game, then we'd want to see that there's been run-throughs and that some of the format points have been worked through in terms of making sure that it would hold up to standards in practice, or that it's a simple, clean format. We're seeing a real need from the networks for social experiment formats in the vein of Married at First Sight, 90 Day Fiancé, even Sex Box. We're also seeing a real sort of trend for something that's a little bit more authentic, that's not overly produced, that's a little bit more, I hate to use the word because I hate it when it's thrown back at me, but organic, whatever the fuck that means. But it's essentially about something that's a little bit more real. I think that there's a shift away from viewers and from networks from things that are so feeling that they're overly produced. I think as content providers, it's fantastic, it's great for us. It's really challenging as to think about who the audience is, how the audience is consuming that TV, where they're consuming that TV, and how we can get to them. There's been a real sort of challenge with Nonscripted as to how can you translate this whole binge viewing thing into something that's non-scripted. With things like Serial or The Jinx, everyone's like, how can you do that in a reality world? So, creatively that's a real challenge, but I like that. It's like that's why we want to work with producers who might have thought of that, who might have cracked that, that can work with us on, partnering with how we bring that to life at a network. A piece of advice I would give to young producers is three things, I think. One is really networking, getting to understand and really meeting with people that are out there. Secondly, trying to figure out ways to bring your material to life. Everyone has iPhones, everyone has smartphones, everyone has ability to sort of film something and edit something. So even if it's rough, down and dirty, but it tells a story and it tells your vision, then think about how you do that. I mean, everyone has those tools in their hand. And I think the third thing is don't give up, in the sense of, one of the things that we've tried really hard to do at ITV Studios is we're a big corporation, but I want us still to feel that we're open and flexible and accessible to producers, particularly if they've got exciting projects. So I think persistence is a good thing.